Today I want to show you the Goliath tigerfish, because this extraordinary predator has teeth a shark would be proud of and an impressive blend of strength, speed, and subtle perception, making it one of the most precise and effective hunters in Africa's great rivers, understood only when you observe its whirl calmly. It also shows through its behavior that it does not attack randomly, but carefully evaluates whether an opportunity is truly worth taking, reminding us that even animals with fearsome appearance are often far more complex than they seem at first glance, because behind those sharp teeth lies a remarkably controlled creature. When you observe the Goliath tigerfish in its natural habitat, you quickly notice that it is not just a fast, solitary hunter, but an animal that senses every current, every shadow, and every movement in the water, making its lightning-fast strikes appear not chaotic, but perfectly coordinated, giving an efficiency that few other fish in its environment can match. At the same time, its constant alertness shows that it can be prey as well, because many larger predators lurk in African rivers, and so it must decide every second whether to attack, flee, or remain still, turning its world into a continuous balancing act that you only understand when you observe without prejudice. Looking more closely at its anatomy, you notice that its teeth are not only long and sharp but interlock like small daggers, allowing it to cut through even hard structures with ease, giving it a decisive advantage in nature and showing how perfectly its body is designed for speed and impact. Its powerful body also proves that it is not only an explosive sprinter, but an enduring swimmer that can hold its position even in strong currents, making it one of the most stable and reliable hunters in Africa's turbulent waters, perceiving its surroundings with a precision you only recognize when you meet it with res. In the end, you realize that the Goliath tigerfish is far more than its intimidating appearance suggests, because it is precise, cautious, powerful, and perfectly adapted to its environment, making it a fascinating inhabitant of the rivers that you only truly understand when you observe its whirl with patience and appreciate its role in the ecosystem. And this combination of strength, instinct, and subtle perception shows us that even animals with a dangerous image often possess a quiet elegance that becomes visible only when you encounter them without prejudice and respect their importance to nature. The Goliath tigerfish moves to the faster current zones of its rivers with a precision that becomes clear only when you observe its movements closely, because every stroke of its fins is coordinated so perfectly that it remains stable even in turbulent water and can direct its strength exactly where it needs it. Its perception reacts to even the smallest changes in the water, because tiny pressure waves are enough to capture its attention, revealing how closely its survival is tied to this extraordinary sensitivity and how perfectly it is adapted to the dynamic conditions of its habitat. Its acceleration often happens in a single explosive moment, because its muscles release enormous power instantly, allowing it to surprise its prey before they even realize danger is near, highlighting its role as one of the fastest hunters in its river. This power is never uncontrolled, because the tigerfish decides within fractions of a second whether to continue to chase or abandon it, showing that its behavior is not only instinctive but surprisingly deliberate and helps it conserve energy when a situation does not promise sucky. Its hunting technique uses the current to its advantage, because it does not strike blindly but times its attacks so that it achieves maximum effect with minimal effort, proving how perfectly its body is designed for speed, control, and efficacy. It also reacts not only to prey but to the movements of other animals, because many species in African rivers influence its attention, turning its world into a complex network of decisions that constantly shift between attack, caution, and observer. Its perception of the environment is so precise that it detects changes even in dark or heavily vegetated areas, allowing it to remain successful in difficult conditions, and proving that its strength comes not only from power but from refined control. In the end, its behavior shows that the Goliath tigerfish is not just a fast predator, but an animal that perceives its surroundings with an elegance and accuracy you only understand when you observe its movements calmly and appreciate its role in the delicate balance of nature. He is especially active in the darkness, because when the sunlight fades and the rivers become quieter, the Goliath tigerfish uses the shadows to move almost invisibly, making his attacks even more precise and surprising. During the night, he relies more on perception than on sight, because pressure waves and subtle movements reveal where prey is located, allowing him to achieve remarkable accuracy even in complete darkness. While other fish slow down or seek shelter at night, the tigerfish increases his activity, because the reduced visibility of his prey gives him an advantage that he uses with lightning-fast strikes, highlighting his role as a dominant nocturnal hunt. In the deeper parts of the river where almost no light reaches, he glides through the water almost silently, because his movements are so finely tuned that even sensitive animals notice him only when it is already too late, emphasizing his efficiency in the duh. Under moonlight, his behavior changes slightly, because the faint brightness allows him to recognize shadows more clearly, enabling him to time his attacks even more precisely and showing how even minimal light influences his hunting strat. On heavily clouded nights, when absolute darkness prevails, he relies entirely on his ability to read pressure waves, because every movement in the water creates a pattern he can interpret, allowing him to remain a precise hunter even without S. When temperatures drop at night, some prey fish become slower, and he uses exactly these moments, because his own strength remains unchanged, allowing him to achieve maximum success with minimal effort, and proving how perfectly he is adapted to nocturnal kundi. Tie-ins. In the end, you realize that darkness is not a limitation, but an advantage to the Goliath tigerfish, because it amplifies his strengths and allows him to use his abilities fully, making him one of the most effective nocturnal predators in his rivers. He allows prey to escape only when he decides it is not worth the effort, because he does not react to every twitch in the water, but evaluates instantly whether the movement promises success, making his hunting behavior surprisingly deliberate. In calmer river sections, he often watches the surroundings before striking, because many small fish try to hide between plants or roots, and he uses exactly these moments to deliver a single precise attack, showing how efficient he truly is. In faster currents, he focuses on prey struggling against the flow, because such animals are easier to catch, allowing him to save energy while increasing his success rate, proving that his hunting strategy depends strongly on the river's condition. Sometimes he even ignores potential prey if it appears too large or too strong, because he does not waste his strength unnecessarily, revealing that he does not hunt randomly, but makes choices that benefit him in the long R. In deeper water, he reacts especially to regular pressure waves, because such movements indicate that an animal is injured or weakened, allowing him to achieve maximum effect with minimal effort, and showing how precise his perception truly is. When several small fish flee at once, he often focuses on just one, because a targeted attack is more successful than chaotic chasing, making his hunting style not only powerful but strat. In moments of poor visibility, he relies entirely on patterns of water movement, because every fin creates a signal he can interpret, allowing him to maintain impressive accuracy even under difficult conditions. In the end, his method of selecting prey shows that he is not an uncontrolled predator, but an animal that weighs every decision and uses its energy wisely, making him one of the most efficient hunters in his rivers, understood only when you observe his world see. Loosely, Gerd, Das ist jetzt sauber, Abwech Slungsrake, Menschlich you and die Ohnmuster, Sag Beskied, and we're Abschnitt Macken Solen, Ich Sage dir wieder das Thema, you and du gibst mir den Satzenfang. He perceives the surroundings with precision that remains impressive even in the strongest currents, because every tiny change in the water gives him clues about where prey or danger might be, allowing him to maintain full control over his movements. In the deeper parts of the river, he detects even the finest pressure waves, because his lateral line responds to vibrations that remain invisible to other animals, giving him perfect awareness even in complete darkness. Among plants, roots, and rocks, he uses the structure of the water to orient himself, because currents and countercurrents reveal where animals hide, allowing him to succeed even in complex environments. When the current suddenly becomes stronger, he adjusts his movements immediately, because he does not fight the water but uses its force, maintaining maximum control with minimal FO. In calmer zones, he detects even the smallest movements of prey fish, because the water's surface transmits every change, allowing him to react from greater distance. CS. Under changing light conditions, he uses the emerging shadows, because even weak brightness alters perception of his prey, making his attacks more surprising and precise. During the rainy season, when the water becomes murkier and new scents appear, he relies more on his perception of pressure waves, because sight plays almost no role, allowing him to remain successful even under difficult conditions. Tie-ins. In the end, his ability to read his environment shows that he is not only a powerful predator, but an animal that masters its world with instinct, experience, and refined perception, making him one of the most fascinating inhabitants of his. Rivers. Finally, I want to thank you for watching this film until the end, because every moment of attention supports the creation of new documentaries and helps bring the fascinating world of nature closer to all viewers. If you enjoyed this film, I truly appreciate your subscription and a like, because your support makes it possible to continue producing new projects for my channel Sarcastic Fringehead.